Welcome back. The Folklore Festival returns for another year of vibrant celebration of African identity, culture, customs and heritage on the 16th of September 2023 at the National School of the Arts in Braamfontein. Now, the festival, taking place over Heritage Month, promises an unforgettable experience exploring a pan-African offering of music, literature, craft and food for the whole family. One of the headliners, Josh Meck, is an award-winning, world-renowned Afro jazz artist born in the dusty streets of Chingwidza, a township in Harare. He is a self-taught bass guitar maestro whose music fuses Zimbabwean traditional rhythms like mande and gatekwe and with jazz elements to bring about his unique sound. Josh is currently the bassist of Mahube, a collective of the best Southern African musicians. His latest album, titled Haka Heshua, translated to National Heritage, received the Best Jazz Album Award at the Zimbabwe Music Awards. Meck's album pays tribute to iconic predecessors in the Zimbabwean music and highlights the country's unique rhythms. Josh Meck joins us now in studio this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, first of all, maybe let's start with maybe just pay a little tribute to Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, because we've just received the sad news of his passing right now.
Yeah.
We're a nation in mourning.
I pass my deeply condolences to the family. It's such a great loss for the nation of South Africa. Well, where we come from in Zimbabwe, when we have an event like that where a great person passes away, we get into a moment of mourning as a nation. So mourning together with the South African community and the South African nation as well. Yeah.
All right. And let's take it back then to the music. Talk to us about your upbringing.
Yeah, my father was a musician in church. I grew up in a place called Chitungwiza. It's a dusty township in the city of Harare. So I used to steal my father's guitars because he didn't want me to play guitar at all because I was young and he really valued his guitar. So when he used to go to work, I used to pop into his room and steal his guitar and teach myself. So I'm self-taught.
Yeah, so what attracted you to the bass guitar?
Okay, so I started learning when I was 5 years, so my fingers were little, you know. So when you hold the guitar, it has the first 4 strings are bass guitar, and are bass strings, so I'm left-handed. So when you hold it on the left hand, the bass strings are on the bottom, so my fingers could only reach the bass strings. That's how I got to fall in love with the bass guitar. When I grew older, all I knew was the bass sound. So I had to transfer from guitar to bass guitar.
So with 6 albums, right, to your name, what's your favorite instrument?
It's the bass guitar.
It's
the bass guitar followed by the acoustic guitar because I learned from an acoustic guitar. So the bass guitar takes precedence, but the acoustic guitar also, it also shapes the texture of my music. It then separates it from a lot of jazz that is going around because the acoustic guitar brings that African element to the music. So favorite guitar, bass guitar, but the acoustic guitar brings that African element to the music.
Talk to us then about the Folklore Festival.
Yeah, Folklore Festival is a festival that is more focused on the cultural heritage of music, different backgrounds. Like if you look at the lineup, we have people from Kenya, I come from Zimbabwe, and then there's also South Africa, and it's all celebrating our cultural heritage. Because if you look at the music industry these days, there are a lot of elements that are coming out from the Western worlds. So it's kind of like overclouding the music industry, but with the festival, like the Folklore Festival, it then brings attention to the cultural heritage of different cultures in Africa. That's why they have a whole host of African artists who are going to be performing there, from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, myself, South Africa. You know, it's just a mixture of great artists from different cultural backgrounds on one platform.
So what can revelers expect from your set?
Well, I can just say we're gonna bring it down. We're gonna bring a whole cultural heritage from Zimbabwe. We're gonna be highlighting musicians like Oliver Mtukudzi, Chiwoniso Marere, the greats from the Zimbabwean musical heritage. We're gonna be showcasing some of their work and some of their rhythms infused with my music.
Yeah, and why is it so important that music be used as not just music, but also as a tool to mobilize change in our communities?
You know, music is a language. It's a language that anyone, no matter how old you are, can understand. If I would want to communicate something to a little kid, it would be easier for me to do it through music, because music gets to the heart. You know, it gets, when communicated well, it gets to the heart rather than just communication as in verbal. So I think music plays a really pivotal role in our day-to-day life. And also music talks about the different experiences that we have in life. And it's easier to relay those experiences through music than through dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a bit of an unfair question. Now, what are some of your greatest reflection of your career?
All right, there's so many, but I'll just pick one. So the first one was to tour America. For me, that was great because I get a lot of influences from guys like Richard Bonner. He's in America. So I always wanted to be in that space. In terms of my jazz music, to be in that space, to experience it more than watching it on YouTube, because I always used to relate to videos from American artists. So if you listen to my music, it's mainly a fusion of funk and Zimbabwean African rhythms. The funk is influenced from America. Yeah.
So those are all the influences that you get and you decide to just put together. And what happens when you pen music?
Sorry, what happens?
What happens when you pen music and sit down and decide that this is what I'm going to be talking about in this particular song?
So in this day and age, it's good that we have recorders on our phone. So sometimes music just comes, a melody comes into my head. I just record it, and then when I get home, I sit down and I start writing as a reference to the melody. So that's kind of easy these days.
Yeah.
Because you have a recorder like in your hands, so it's quite easy.
So where can your fans catch you now?
Well, we are performing at the Folklore Festival on the 16th of September. It's going to be happening at the National School of Arts in Braamfontein. And there are going to be a lot of other artists performing as well. Shoma Josie, Vusi Matlasela. I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, and a host of other artists from Kenya and different other countries. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Morning Live.
Thank you so much.
And that was award-winning, world-renowned Afro jazz artist Josh Meck speaking to us about the Folklore Festival, which takes place on the 16th of September 2023 at the National School of the Arts in Bram Park, Johannesburg. Josh will be back a little later to give us a snippet of what to expect at the festival, of course. And we also continue to monitor developments on our breaking news story this hour, and that's on the news of the passing of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. All this and more right here on the channel. Stay with us.